Hey, how's it going, everybody? So we're going to be picking back up on the Changelog application that we've been stream building for the maybe past half month or so. So currently what we have an issue with is the way that we have things set up is whenever you go to sign in, so if I go in here, I can sign in with a username or an email. Um, I think that's the password. Yeah. So you get logged in and then you get redirected back to the home page. But due to our app state, everything's expecting, um, well, it's expecting us to have our team and all that information available. So it's wanting that information within the params. Now, there's a couple of options. I think the probably most user-friendly one is going to be whenever they log in to redirect them to their last accessed team, which we are storing within the database as last access team ID, and then we also have the project as well there. Now, currently those are only being changed whenever we're creating a new team or a new project. So what we need to do is first we need to add the ability to actually create a team because currently the only way to create a team now is to actually register. So there's no way to add an additional team. So let me go ahead and go into a working page here. So for example, we have the team for whenever you register, but this create new team doesn't do anything. It doesn't go anywhere. So we need to fill that out. And then once we have that filled out, I think it would be good to go ahead and record the user's last access team as they switch between their different teams, which will be listed right here. And then once we have that, then it would be good to go ahead and redirect them to that stored last access team once they log in, or if they try to go into maybe the login or registration pages, we can redirect them there then. And if they try to go back to that home page, we can redirect them there then as well. So step one, I think, would be to go ahead and get this create new team set up. I really don't think it needs to be much. We have the team settings, which right now is just this name. I think that's sufficient for creating a new team. And then once they create the team, it'll be given a default name, or it'll be given whatever name they give it. And then they can go in there and add in additional team members. We won't be focusing on the team members today. We're just going to be focusing on the things that we went over just a moment ago. And then we'll focus on adding additional team members here later on. But let's go ahead and get started. So I don't remember what I left off with in terms of routes for the actual team. So it looks like we have edit, and then we have a put to update it. So that looks like it. So first we'll want to go ahead and create a creation page for that. So the thing to think about there is let's see. All right, I'm immediately hit by a question of why does this one require off and why does this one not? I can't remember why I did that or if there was even a reason. So let's see. There's really not a reason I would think to where we would want to be able to hit those. So we'll circle back to that question here momentarily. Let's go ahead and start just by getting our creation. So teams.create, actually, I kind of prefer the terminology. Well, we're going with create for the project, so we'll go with create here as well. And then we'll have our teams controller.create as teams create. And then we can go ahead and, since I believe we created that as a resource, we can go ahead and do our post route for that as well. So teams, just teams for post, and then teams controller store as team store should suffice for that. Okay. And then we'll want to jump into our teams controller. We have, yep, cool, our create right here. So let's go ahead and grab the view for this. Let's just go ahead and get something rendered out for it. So return view render pages teams create looks correct to me. Go ahead and store that, save that. I'm gonna collapse down some of the stuff that we have open here to make it a little bit easier to scroll and sift through. All right, don't need that open. So looks like we have our pages, projects, there's our team. I'm gonna go ahead and do, well, let's go ahead and just copy what we have for the edit page, since the edit for, or the name form is really all that we need for creating. All right, and then we'll call this create. And let's change. So create team, we're not going to have any team state data within here to actually render out. We can keep those flash messages. It's so hard to say for me. And then we'll change this to store. The form itself would be a post. This would come into play if we do end up changing the route structure. So what I'm thinking is it might be best to, well, okay, yeah, I see why I put that in a separate grouping, because this one requires to already have a team, but this would be outside of that particular state, because it wouldn't make sense to go /1 for the team ID of 1 /teams/3 to go to team 3. So, hey Roman, thank you. Yeah, it's been an off and on battle for me. I'm bad at getting into it, but yeah, hopefully this project will help us get a consistent thing going for streaming. Give me something where we'll only focus on it streaming instead of actual video lessons. So, and then, yeah, so I don't think we'll need a team ID for that because we'll have that outside of that group. So it won't need it for the route param grouping or the route group. And then we have our team name. The value is not going to be team name. We can actually just leave value off altogether. I believe I have that defaulting to an empty string inside of the component, if I remember correctly. And then we can go ahead and call this create team. And I think that should do it. So the next thing to do would be to go into our header. So trying to remember, there it is. All right, so create new team is right here. That does look like that's the correct spot. So let's go ahead and just do a route. Teams create. We don't need to provide any params into that. And then we'll have create new team. I think we'll do this similarly to how we have the create new project going on, where it just plops open in a modal. Kind of like that, and especially since we only have that one field, I think that makes sense. So I believe that is up layer. I'm gonna look. Let's see if we scroll up a little bit. That project drop down should be right here somewhere. Scroll up a little bit more, maybe. I need to put some comments in this. Let's see. So I'm gonna do a search for up hungry, up. Oh, I passed it. It was a past one. Looks like it is just up layer. So all right, my brain was right on that. Oh no, that's just what I put in. Okay, well, we'll try that. Really surprised that the other one's not in here. It makes me think that I have it wrong, because that should be within this header. This little button right here. I'm gonna look at that markup that's within here. Let's see, so we have the UL. It's the third item. Up layer, new modal. I knew it was a little bit more than just up layer. I knew there was something. Look, it's right there. My goodness. Must have went right past it whenever I was searching. New modal. Okay. So now that should open up inside of a new modal here. Let's see. I'm going to go back to, none of these links go back to just the, go back to the one page. All right, come into here. And now if we click on it, it should, no, took us to Teams Create, which is just empty. All right, did I save the controller? Teams controller, yes I did. Pages, Teams Create, is that correct? We have Pages, Teams Create. That is indeed correct. All right, let's try it without the up layer, just to make sure that without that it's working okay and that I didn't mess something up internally. All right, so yeah, I did something wrong already. Wow, that didn't take long. All right, so let's see. What did I do? Is it the route? Did I go to, is that linking to projects create? Or teams create? Teams create, okay. I was gonna say that might have been the first issue. So we have teams create, there is no, oh, I think we're back to that app state issue. Maybe? Let's see. Let's try to go to teams/a team. So I think that would be this one. All right. That one works fine. Is it because, well, you know, going into the terminal would, yeah. Yeah. So it's the app state issue. So essentially we have undefined being passed in to a query. So we need to add an additional middleware app state. We have within here, this try populate user, we have these where statements. I think we need to add in if because this is where we'll want to populate in the defaults. I think if the params aren't provided, no, we'll be redirecting for that. So, okay, so we're good to go ahead and just wrap those in if statements. So we just need to do something similar for team up here. So if team, that'll be team or null. All right. And then I'm just going to wrap this here and if. All right. And I think that's the root cause of the issue because it looks like everything else stems off of the team. So I guess this one here, we would also want to do an if team. Although that should work since we're using a nullish check on it, but we'll go ahead and add that in there since it relies on it anyway. All right. So let's go back to our create new team. Still nada. Still cannot read properties of null reading name. At that point, it's within our header. So whoop, don't want to print that. Let's go in here, and name 97. It's right here. Okay, so we do definitely always want to show that. They're always going to be given a team, even if they're outside the scope of a team. That way that drop down exists. So I think it's at this point that we would want to go ahead and use the default if a team's not provided. And we could do an if statement. So, all right, I think we could put this back to how it was. And then we could do, so, there we go. If team ID, if we have a team ID, then we'll have a query. Yep, exactly. Otherwise, well, I want to go back inside of there. Otherwise, and I'll clean this up here in a second, where yeah, okay, there, yeah. So last access team ID. Or yeah, let's do your last team ID. And let me guess, that's or null. That's only null for a brief moment, I believe, whenever we're creating the user, just like in between whenever the user is created and whenever we're creating the actual team. So that should never render out as null. So I think we're safe with that. We'll walk through it. If we run into any issues, we'll note them and fix them. All right, so there we go. I think that should resolve the issue here. So now we should be able to get it rendered out, and we still have our team over here that we're currently still within. And then we have our create team. And did we finish setting that up to a form? Create, we did. Okay, but we're not doing anything within that route. So back to our teams controller. Within our store, actually, let's go ahead and stub up a validator for this. So we have an update validator. At present, that's the exact same, but as we start building stuff out, they're going to differ. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this since they're the same right now. That's just going to be naming that's going to differ. And then once we start adding in the additional fields that will be editable, that's where the update's going to skew away from the creation. So team create validator, let's call that store because it's going to run within the store method. All right, and then we have store there, and that yeah, that should suffice. And Equimper asks, do you create the default team on user signup? Yes. So the default team is being created within the, oh, it's the yellow one. No wonder I didn't say it. Auth controller, and where we have, that's sign in, sign up's probably up. Yep, there's sign up right here. So we create the user. I need to add transactions to this, but we validate the user, we create the user, we log in the user, and then we create a default team for them using their username as the team name. So it's user's name, team, and then we create the team and attach it to the user. And then we also set that as their last access team ID. So the last access team ID is only null in that brief period between that point and the user actually being created. And then down the road, if they were to somehow delete all of their teams, which in turn, I think it would make most sense to just say to let them go ahead and delete their account. But yeah. So yeah, long story short, yes. Okay. So we have our team store validator should be good enough. So let's jump back into our teams controller here. And within our store method, we would have our request, and we'll also have our response that we can redirect back. And I think that should, we'll probably also need auth. We'll go ahead and grab it just in case. Equimper says, so you should not have an issue with the user not having a team. No, because you won't get redirect until you get one. Correct. So the flow would be you register, you get a default team created, you get forwarded to that default team, or keep calling it default. So you register, you get a base team created, an initial team created for you. That initial team gets set to your last access team, and then we also redirect you to that team as well. And then anytime that you were to come back into the application, we don't have this yet, which is the issue I showed at the very beginning of the stream. We'll then redirect you to that team so that you're never accessing a void team, so to speak. So you always have that base team to go back to. And then if the thinking is if you delete all of your teams, then it would be the same as just deleting your account, and we'll give a warning for that. So yeah. So const data equals await request validate team store validator const team equals await auth user dot related teams. Let's go ahead and do create from that data. I'm going to check real quick and make sure that there's Yeah, no, there's nothing else on Teams right now that would cause that to error out. Wow, that got cold really quick. All right, so we have that, and then we need to set that to, well, no, because we'll redirect, and then it's after we'll redirect is where we'd set that to their last accessed. So we should be good to go ahead and just return response. That looks, yeah, that looks right. Although I think that's, oh no, yeah, no, it is 2 route. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so let's give that a go. So this auth user related should bind the newly created data to the authenticated user. Oh, wait a minute. No. Yeah, but we need to set them as a admin, or yeah, as an admin on the team as well. That's the additional thing that I was forgetting. So actually, I think we might already have a service for this for whenever we, okay, well, so we have the stub default team. Make this a little easier on ourselves in the future. Create add, or and we'll just call it create team. Take in user of user, name, string. All right, and const team equals await user. Pretty much going to be the exact same thing I just typed. Create name. Well, so this can be actually the validated data. We'll switch it up here in a second. Role ID as roles.admin. Let's see, team store validator. Shoot. I'm gonna look. I think I have this stored on my maybe. If I can't find it here quickly, I'll just move on and do the. All right. No, it's not happy with that. It doesn't, yeah, that doesn't, oh, missing a. Okay. Data, and then this would then be data. All right, cool. We'll have to try that out. If that does work, McSneaky from Discord, credit goes to him for that. I took a screen cap of it because I knew that would be handy, and I would never remember it. So yeah, essentially that's grabbing the schema type from the defined validator. So like the team store validator is pretty much just grabbing the type for this data, the validated portion. So then we should be able to, well, let me finish my thought here first. No, that is the thought. Okay. Yeah, we just need to return that. So then we'll go back into our Teams controller, and then all that we should need to do is take that data. We can do const team equals await team service dot create team, and provide in the user. So auth user and data. All right, cool. No red squigglies. Awesome. So let's see whether or not that actually does work. All right, so yeah, let's give it a try. Or no, we need to redirect too. Oh no, I put the redirect in. Okay, so let's try this. So we have Tom Gobbage's team. Let's try team Adacasts. Okay, we got we got redirected correctly, so now we're at 2. That's probably right. I don't think we've stubbed too much data to this point. Yep. So it got created. Let's make sure I got added on. Team ID of 2, user ID 1, role ID 1. So everything got created okay there. Let's see what the error is. Cannot read properties of null name. 97 again. So the team. Oh, right. Because we didn't switch the... Well, now it should be getting a param-based team ID, shouldn't it? So, like, if we go back into app state here, we have that. Let's console.log out. Let's just do team ID. So we should have data team ID. See whether or not that gets consoled out. All right. No, it is undefined. All right, that's strange. So let's see. Routes should be going here, right in here, which would get this middleware, which would try to use params.team. So if team ID make sure that we're actually getting something back for that. We are. So user related team, would it become a relation issue? Oh, I had to click on that. There we go. It shouldn't be, because that's definitely team ID of 2 with user ID of 1. So, let's see. Team ID, query, where ID is team ID. We're not getting a null value there, so it's definitely querying it based off of that, but it's not coming back. Just for sanity's sake. Yeah, no, it's just null. Oh, shoot, went too far. So, all right, let's see. User related team. Go, because what's bizarre is it works for 1, right? So if we go to 1, everything's hunky dory. 2 though, no joy. Equimper says, do you think it's because team ID is a string and not a number? It shouldn't be, because that should connects should take care of that underneath the hood and within the where statement. So that should be okay there. Let's see. It's got to be something with like the user to team binding. I must have missed something. I'm just forgetting about something here. Or maybe it's a lack of projects. Yeah, let me go double check row 97 within the header. Maybe that's a project instead of... No, it's definitely a team. Okay. Well, yeah, no, you even confirm that with your console logs. Never mind. All right. Let's see. So why would that be coming back as null? User, let's go take a look at the user model, make sure everything's looking okay there and that we're not trying to populate it based off of project or whatever, for whatever reason. Maybe accidentally set the relation up wrong. Let's see. Teams uses team users. Okay. It's a many to many. I'm gonna try to take out. Maybe check the user ID, not the team ID. Yeah, user ID should be there, but yeah. It's a good idea. Yeah, so user ID is there. Team ID. I wonder if it's just because one. I'm wondering if something is set up wrong, but this is working just because it's one. I've had that happen before. I can't remember. That was a while ago, but okay. So yeah, so we have our user and our team ID, and then the team comes up whenever it is one. Let's see. Let's walk through it here. So we know at this point we're getting our team ID. At this point, we're getting a team. So let's do const test query await. Or you know what? Let me not fudge up all that code and let's go in here. And let's do a REPL. Let's load up our models. And let's await models dot team dot find or fail to, for sanity's sake. All right, so that team does exist. It is there. Good. So my GUI's not lying to me. All right, now let's do await models dot team dot query where ID is 2. Let's preload the user. Oh, right, users. Users, team members. I don't know what I called it. Yeah. All right. So it looks like all right. Looks like it preloaded. It's an array with a single object, so I'm guessing it probably came in right. So let's do await models user or capital user query where ID is 1 dot preload teams. Probably be the more telling one here. So let's actually save that into a variable. So let's do const user await. That way we can check through it. All right, so it would be the 0, 1, which would be our user. We have preloaded our teams. So let's do user.teams. And we have 2 teams. So that's interesting. It is working right there. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Yep. So they're both attached to the user. Okay. It might be my if statement here. Let me try going ahead and just getting rid of that. So let me grab that right there. And let's just, oh, don't need a query. Do that. Let's try that out. Oh, yeah, stop the server. Exit. hard code it. Yeah, I didn't expect that to do. All right, so let's see. You might just have it right there, eQuimper. You might just have it. Related teams. That does sound right. Let's give that a shot. Oh, man. Well, that's something different. Column reference ID is ambiguous. Okay, let me go double check the model real quick just to make sure. Yep, you're right. It is teams. So good call there. And then team, I do have a team as well, but that's specifically using the last access team ID. So that would load that up. So yeah, teams is definitely the one that I wanted. So good call there, eQuimper. Thank you for that. Now we have our ambiguous ID. So I think that needs to be teams ID due to the way that the query is. Let's give that a try. Oh, there it is. All right. Well, thank you for that. Allow us to move on. That's what the heck did I just do there? Okay, well, I meant to verify to make sure one worked still, but yeah, it does. It somehow opened it up in a new tab through this URL. All right, so there we go. So our team's working okay, and it updated over here. Let's go ahead and list them out. I'm sorry that took me so long. Typos are the hardest thing to find. So we have switch teams over there. Let's go ahead and populate that. I think we have all of the teams populated. I'm gonna check the app state real quick just to make, oh, let me get rid of my console logs before I leave them in there indefinitely accidentally. All right, was that it? Looks like it. Okay, let's go back to our app state. Oh, got this one. And yeah, I think on the, no, I don't think we are populating all of the teams. We just got that one team, right? Yeah, so what we want to do is populate all of the teams. So that way we can list them out in that drop down. So we have that one team there. I think we can go ahead and do that within here. I think that's all right. So it would just be const teams equals await user. It's that query that I ran within REPL. Teams dot query dot order by name. And yeah, I don't think we'll need to preload anything off of it at that point. Just need to get those teams, and then we would have that. Teams projects is populated on the team. Meant to go into the header. So let's go into the header there. And so down here where we have the switch teams with the to-do of the list teams, we can at each team in teams and our each there. Increment that, do href route. I don't think we have a page that just lists. Or yeah, sorry. That's dashboard? App dashboard, yeah. App dashboard. And then we'll want the team to be team ID there. All right. I'm gonna break that down because wow, I did that not the way I meant to, but we got there. All right. Team name. So now those should list out. Yeah, so we have those two teams, and now we can switch between them. So there's one, there's two. Here you can see we have projects. We should still have that drop down. Well, we'll focus on that later, but I would think you should still have that drop down. Maybe not. We already do have this, but I digress. So, all right. So now what we want to do is, as we switch between these two teams, we want to mark the one that we visited as the last accessed. The thing is that whenever we do that on visit, it's going to happen after this right here. And this uses that to populate that data. So essentially what we want to do is provide us a way to know whether or not the last access team was actually queried. And if it was, then we can requery it and update it on our view so that we have that newer team there. So we could probably do that. What would be the cleanest way to do that? Yeah, let's just let's go into our contracts. Oh, we don't have it. Okay, let's make a new file. Let's do HTTP context to declare module and IOC Adonis core HTTP context. I believe it's an interface HTTP context contract, and let's do flags. That would set the type, wouldn't it? No. Flags needs would be a good name for that. That way it won't be questionable what exactly that flag is for. We'll know exactly. All right, so within our user service, essentially, we'll want to either return back with this data, that flag, so that we can update it, or we can provide the context directly in here and alter it. We're grabbing everything off of the context already, but I don't like the idea of just plopping the context into here. We do need to actually switch this to CTX though, in order to extend it. So CTX. CTX params. Simplify that as well. Just do user there. Okay. It's going to be CTX view. Hey, G Pepe. Oh, hopefully I pronounced that right. Thanks for joining us. Um, all right, so we have all that switched over to CTX. So now whether we provide CTX into here and then we just grab that, I like the idea of returning back whether or not we use the last access out of that service rather than mutating the context within the service. So probably actually just get rid of that if, switch the if outside, and then you return that if back with this. So let's do let team ID equal all right. Oh, yeah, no, team ID is already, okay. So let's do query team ID. And then we can get rid of this if here and switch that back to that where statement that we had prior. And then we can do a something like that. And then we can return this back. We can either return it back in that data, but we merge that in with the, well, I guess it's not going to kill it to have that shared within the view. Oh my goodness. All right, can I have my arm back? Somebody needs some attention. All right, girl, let me have my arm back, please. Okay. All right, so we are returning this back with our data now, is last access team. And so now we can jump back into our app state, and that will be within data. It's not a big deal that we're sharing that with the view. It'll be there in case we ever need it, and if not, no biggie. But we'll have it within our data, so we can do, in addition to this, ctx dot flags. I forgot what I put that under there for a second. Last access team equals data dot is last access team. So we can give that I was going to say flag. We can give that a save, and then we can, I'm going to copy that because I'm going to forget again that I called it flags. And let's go within our, shoot, I forget where we needed to edit this at. Within controller or Teams controller? No, dashboard, I think. No, it was our app state. We were already there. No. Hell, where was it? Teams, right? It was Teams. Create team. Return the team back. Damn, I spent too long trying to decide what to do there. I forget what I was trying to do that for. Oh, man. All right, let's see. So we have our team there where we're creating, right? We have our app state. We did that because the team data. Oh, geez. All right. I swear there was a reason for it. It was a good reason too. Oh, geez. Wow. I'm pretty sure it was the team's controller. It would have to have been, but I don't know. It would have had to have been. Maybe it was the dashboard. Well, we're not doing anything with the dashboard, so I wonder what I had to state. What the? Oh man. Let me go back to, yeah. Because, all right, so we were switching the last access with this. All right. All right, well, evidently I broke something. ID is ambiguous. I thought we fixed that. Where is it? What query is that? Database, teams from, where's the from at? Limit team users on teams. Ah, geez. Oh, right. No, we did fix it, but I just undid it. So it's teams ID there. All right. Still no joy. Cannot set property. Oh, right. Because flags is not actually an object. So we need to set it as an object. Let's go ahead and do that here. All right. Okay, good. So we're back to working. The ultimate goal was to save the last accessed anytime that we switch between those two. So it's going to be the dashboard view. And then I had said, well, the issue is going to be that this runs before we actually get to the controller. So whenever we actually update that, if this used the last accessed, we need to update what the value is. Ah, full circle. Hey, Darius, thanks for coming around. You're just in time for me to remember what it is that I had convolutedly did a circle to put this in here for. So let's do dashboard controller. And then we need to store the last accessed. So say that right? I think I did. Auth. We need auth out of here. This requires auth, so we can just go ahead and do it. So let's go ahead and put this inside of I think a user service might make the most sense. Oh, look at this. I already have a method for this. All right, cool. So update last access, we just provide in the user, the team, and the project. Well, we're not going to have a project at this point. Doesn't it even make sense to update the project to null? Yeah, we'll roll with it for right now. All right, so that was on the user service. So let's do await user service dot update last accessed auth user. And then we have the team. So well, we don't have the team because we're just sharing that with the view. We could share it with the context, and we could do the same with the project as well. So yeah, why not? So let's jump back into our contracts, go into HTTP context, and in addition to our flags, let's also add in the team and this can be null. Oh, I need to import that. And then let's do project as well. Project or null. So import team from app models team and import project from app models project. There we go. All right, so we have our team project and flags within our HTTP context, and then we need to jump back into our, actually, that doesn't make any sense. So we would want to ensure that we're getting enough of the param, well, yeah, okay, I think I just rationalized why this isn't needed. So if we're updating the last access, it's going to be because we have a params. If we have the params, then the last access isn't going to be used to query it. So in essence, this isn't necessarily needed. We went through having it. It might come in handy later on, and it's not taking up much room, so I'll leave it there for right now. But yeah, I don't think we'll actually end up needing that. So let's do team there, data team, and then CTX project equals data project there. No, or undefined. I don't remember why I did or undefined in addition to null, but neither of the which matter to me, so that should suffice there. Let me finish my thought here and then I'll read your comment. Otherwise, I might forget what I was doing here. Let's see. So in addition to our HTTP context, we should now also have team and project here. So we can do team and project there. All right. Warbrew says, hi, I'm currently building a project with Nest.js and backend, and I'm seriously thinking about changing to Adonis.js. Do you think I should wait to version 6 release before switching between frameworks? Thanks. I watched some of your tutorials and was so impressed. Nice job. First, thank you. I really appreciate that. Second, I would go ahead and just start using 5. To my knowledge, the change with 6 is mostly going to be just switching to ESM plus some additional functionalities. So most of the lift is probably going to be switching from CJS to ESM within your code base. So I don't anticipate it being too heavy of a lift. Obviously, there's going to be some breaking changes, but it's not going to be too difficult. I would say go ahead and start using 5. We also aren't currently. We don't have a good time frame on when 6 is going to be. It might be sometime this year, might be early next year. Yeah, I would say go ahead and use 5. It'll serve you well. And then I'm gonna apologize in advance. I'm gonna probably butcher your name. Alayu Mohammed Habib. I'm horrible with reading. I'm not a very good reader, so I'm sorry if I butchered that. Hey, what theme are you using for Visual Studio Code? GitHub Blue, I think. I'll verify that for you. I'm here. And I know my users page is out of date with this. GitHub Blue. Yeah, GitHub Blue. So it's just the GitHub theme with a blue background. So yeah. Oh, that's build code at this point. So yeah, let's go ahead and verify that this is actually updating the last access. And then we don't have to go through the flow that I was thinking about with needing to requery it because it might be stale. I'm mostly a morning time coder. Whenever it gets later in the day, I start getting a little foggy. So if I don't appear top of game, I apologize. But yeah, so let's go. We're currently in 2, which is Team Atacast. So we do need to highlight which one the active one is here to help us out. But if we switch to 1, and then we come down to our database here, go into our users, let's scroll over to the right, refresh. It was already 1, but yeah, now it's definitely 1. We switch over to 2, and we come back in here, refresh. All right, team ID is 2, and then the project is null. So I'm not crazy about the project getting nixed out, but I guess that does make sense because if you're changing the team, then most likely the project's going to update as well. So if you didn't visit a project, then it will be null. So I guess that makes sense that does null out. But yes, that is switching out, which is great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Alayu, I'll try your first name again there. So let's see. We have the main issue at hand, which was the big circle we went through to get here, which is if I go ahead and sign out, and if I sign in, we get redirected back to this page. And I think it would be better to not do that, but instead go directly into your default project. So for example, if I were to sign in here, we get redirected back to this page, which it would be better to go to that page. So we'll be doing that. We're going to get that using this now updated last access team ID value. So let's go to our auth controller, which is where that's going to be. All right, so we have our validation. We have our, oh, that's sign up, sorry. That's still, sign up's already doing it. It's doing it just going directly into the default team there. So we do, this is specifically just a sign in thing. Oop. All right, to route, this is going to be app dashboard team. Let's see. At this point, I think we should have auth user dot last access team ID. So we'll give that a try. My brain says that should be all that we need to do there. Our last access team was, let's make sure it does it right, 2. Good. So that way we know it's not just defaulting to 1. Let's go ahead and sign out. Let's sign in. Okay, and awesome. We got switched to here. Let's try that one more time using, oh, that's the same team. All right, let me go ahead and highlight that while I'm thinking about that, so I'll forget. So let's go into our header. What am I doing for the other team? Oh, I don't have that on the projects yet either. Oh, yeah, we need to add that to the projects too. All right, so well, while I'm here, let's go ahead and sign out. And then let's sign in. And cool, so we got taken to 1. So that is working a-okay. Our last access is properly storing, updating, and we're now getting redirected to it after login. In a second here, we'll take care of the use case where what if you come, oh, well, what if you try to go to the I don't know what the sign-in page is off the top of my head, but what if you try to go to the sign-in page? We'll take care of that use case here in a second. So let's highlight the active one within here. I'm not 100% certain what I want to do for highlighting that. Maybe just put the background on it. I don't know. So within our header, underneath our switch teams, the active team is going to be just team. Here we have team, so we need to fix that. So instead, I was just going to write team again. Let's do item. Let's make it a little bit more verbose. It's not that big of a loop, so I think it'd be relatively easy to track back what exactly item is in this use case. And then we can do I guess a class, and then we could do item. Let's make that a little bit cleaner. Let's put that inside of a variable. Wow, butchered that. Is active item ID equals team ID. All right. And then we'll have is active. And if it's active, I don't know. I'm just going to do a regular old tailwind class here. BG trying to think of what the gray is, because the Daisy UI gray is not named gray. It's like base. Is it base? I think it might be base. Do base 200. Let's try that. So if it's active, we'll do base 200. Otherwise, just provide that in as an empty string. So let's try that. Did it refresh? Did I do that on the team or did I do that on the project? Okay. Let's try 100. Maybe I made it the same color as the dropdown. Ah, there it is. All right, so it's a little, that's not much, but it's something. It'll suffice for now. I'll change that up in the, I don't think you guys care what I care to watch me sit here and play with colors. Let's see. And then we have the project, so we're looping over the project. It's probably going to be the same issue. Project, yeah. So we'll switch this one here to name, or not name, item as well. Okay, and then definitely need to switch that to item there. Drop that class in there, and then we'll define that is active. Looks like I got 2 spaces there. So at set is active item ID equals project ID. Give that a save. And cool. So it's not a very big, yeah, you guys can see that. All right, it's not a very big difference, but it's there. It's there. So if we switch there, now it's the other one. This is the only one that has teams. So if we switch over here, we switch to a different team. That one, okay, good. Cool, so everything there seems to be working. Let's make sure, just as a, ooh, my first team. All right, cool. And there's my first team. So cool. So it all seems to be working. Now let's go ahead and I'm gonna look and see what exactly the auth routes are. Sign in, sign up, register, right? Sign in, sign up. Okay, go. So now what I would like to do is if you were to try to go to sign in, if you got redirected here for whatever reason, or you clicked an external link that was going here, a bookmark or whatever, and you were already logged in, instead of reaching this broken page, I'm not entirely sure why that's broken. Name, header, 98. Team, a lack there of a team. Thought we fixed this. Team should always be queried because you should have a last access team that's stored. I have a last access team that's stored, so it should be getting used as a default. Pretty sure we can fix that. Oh, I don't think that applies to our auth. I don't think this applies to our auth pages. Yeah, it does not. So we're going to be redirecting them away from this anyway, so I don't think that warrants fixing. Yeah. So yeah, header's not displayed on these pages anywhere. Well, it is, but it's just the sign up, sign in. Once you actually get there, I don't think this matters. So let's create a new middleware, and let's call this guest. All right. I can't remember whether or not that registers that for you. Probably not. That's the wrong file. There we go. Yep. So guest import app middleware guest. Give that a save. Let's jump back into our guest middleware here. And all that we should need here is response and auth. And essentially all that we'll be doing, if auth user return response dot redirect to path route to route app dashboard team auth user last access team ID. And we need to apply that to those routes. Did I return out of that? Yeah. Okay. And I'm just going to put this inside of a group. Okay. So we've got the guest middleware on all of our authentication routes. Obviously, whenever we get around to password resetting and all that, I don't know whether or not we would actually want that to still apply. But so now if we come into here, we get redirected away and back into our last access project. If we were to try sign in, last access project. Having a hard time saying accessed. Try that one more time with this one as the, and voila. Come into a different tab. And we still go there. So great. So that's working a-okay. Last like little thing is this is still showing like the you haven't created any projects, even though we have 2 projects within this team at this point. I think we can go ahead and get something basic rendered out there. So we already have all of that data available. We're doing that within the app state middleware. So within this, I'm going to put a break within there. Within this service method, we are loading all of the projects onto the team variable. And then within the app state, we're taking all of that data that's returned, aka our team, and sharing that directly with the view. So anywhere within the view, we have team.projects to get all of the users' specific teams that they're viewing at, all of those projects that way. So we don't need to query that at all within that particular view. It's already there. So we can go within whatever that view would be. That would be the dashboard index, right? Yeah, pages dashboard. And we can take, oh, look at that. I even reloaded myself with a little if statement here. So we have if false, which will always be false. So we just need to switch this to if team dot projects dot length. Put it here, there, make sure we're good. We're good. Ideally, this would be some type of table. I don't have the full bandwidth right now to run through adding in a full table component, but actually we are using Daisy, so I could probably just copy and paste something. Let's jump into here, see components. Table. They would have to have a table within this, right? Nope, yep, there it is. Oh, missed it. Okay. So I think just this basic one for right now will do. So I'm just going to copy this as it is. We won't worry about pagination or anything like that right now. I don't have the energy to go on much longer for that. So we'll just go ahead and do that. And then what all would we want to display for the team or for the projects, this projects? I don't think the ID matters for the end user. For our use case, I'm going to go ahead and put it there because we might lose track down the road and need to just verify some things visually. So it might save us a second there. We can do name, maybe users as like a count or number of users or something of the sort, and actions. So we'll leave this one empty for actions. All right, and then it's got each one of the rows. Just cut those out, and loop over it. So at each project in team projects. Now, within our middleware, app state right here, we're just ordering them by the name. So if we want to get the count of the users along with it, we would want to do with count team. And then let's come down here and each project name. Oops, sorry, that's ID. So again, for a normal end user, that probably wouldn't matter at all, but since we're building something here actively for development usages, we'll go ahead and put that in. Project.name. And then we have that count. I might get this wrong initially, but I believe that should be project extras team count. And then I'll just put actions for right now. Yeah, so that looks pretty right. It's not pretty to look at, but it's got our information on it and everything. So yeah, and then we can make this a link. So we can do a href. That needs to go into a separate line. It's gonna get too long. A href route app it's probably teams. We don't have an index. Oh, right. No, it just goes straight into the edit page, right? Okay. So edit, teams edit. And that will need it will need the team. And it will need the project, which will be the project ID. Okie doke. Oh, I missed something. That didn't. And string. And all right, I'm missing something else. It still doesn't look right. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and end the anchor there. Not immediately seeing anything that looks wrong with it, but the highlighting looks odd. I'm gonna go ahead and save and yeah, thumbs up. So we have a href open brackets routes amp teams edit and string comma opening our object. It seems to go wrong like right here. Let me try that again. Save that and see if we open it up okay right there. It's gonna get. I did not hit T. Let's see. Cannot find route app teams edit identifier. Maybe I got that wrong. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in. And then I'm gonna go into the routes app teams edit. Oh, shoot. I meant to do projects. All right, let's give that a save. Should be able to jump back into here, give that a refresh. There we go. And so there's one, and there's two. But we're still within team 1 on the URL, but editing project from a team 2. No, sorry, no. My mess up. These are both team 1. I was no. This is behaving right. All right. And then Z index issue there, but I'll fix that off screen. So, yeah. Thank you all for joining along. Sorry I got stuck on a typo there for a little bit. Again, thank you, eQuimper, for helping me get past that. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, please consider hitting the like button down below and subscribing for future lessons and streams like this one. I normally like to do my streams in the morning because I'm a little bit more on it. But yeah, I think we managed to get done what we wanted to get done here. We just kind of had to hop a couple of times to get there. But yeah, so hopefully it wasn't boring. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and thank you for stopping by. Have a great rest of your weekend. And I did this stream because I don't quite have a lesson prepared for tomorrow at the ready. So instead of a lesson being out tomorrow, we have this stream. Hopefully that suffices. And then I'll see you guys again on Thursday for another lesson to be released. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later.